21 minutes past 7, welcome back to Daybreak. Exams for 5-year-olds and a back-to-basics focus on maths, science and history. That's what the Education Secretary will announce as he unveils the new national curriculum today.
We're going to be talking to Michael Gove in just a few moments, but first, Richard Gaisford is at a school in South East London for us. And Richard, what changes are they expecting?
Well, the government's saying this is a curriculum that's going to prepare students from the very earliest age to live and work in a digital age and give the country a competitive edge. They'll start that by doing fractions for 5-year-olds. That's one of the changes to the maths curriculum we're expecting to see. Also, 9-year-olds learning times tables to multiples of 12 instead of 10. Biology, chemistry, physics, all the sciences will get a much more serious look. To make that happen, they will axe some of the softer subjects like animal care. It's going to be a much greater focus too on British and world history. And it is this design technology where we're going to see big changes too. Robots, 3D printers brought in. The big question though is how they're going to afford to do that. Teachers here questioning that. Parents though, quite receptive.
I think it might put a little bit too much pressure on them.
I think it's better that they start learning fractions at an early age.
Learning things like fractions more at an earlier age, I'd have more of a problem with.
I'm kind of happy that they're going to introduce more complicated stuff.
Thank you very much, Richard. Education Secretary Michael Gove joins us now. Good morning to you. Many people happy at your back-to-basics approach, but tougher tests for children as young as 5. Aren't we in a danger of leaving behind those who are maybe not considered bright at that young age?
I think the most important thing is to make sure that we understand when children arrive in school how well they're performing, so that we can then ensure that those children who are bright are really stretched, but also those children who may arrive at school not perhaps with all the preparations in place for them to enjoy their learning, are helped to enjoy their learning so that children of all abilities can succeed.
How are you going to help them to enjoy it if you're testing them?
Well, one of the things I've found is that children actually enjoy being set a challenge. And as soon as you ensure that you understand the level at which children are working, then you're able to set an appropriate challenge. Because all of us thrive when we're set a challenge that's just a wee bit beyond what we're comfortable with, but within our grasp. In that sense, there's nothing at all, I think, reassuring about giving children work that's easy. Or, for that matter, there's nothing, I think, stretching about giving children work that is way beyond their capacity. So unless you know how well children are doing, what they're capable of, you can't make sure that you set the bar at an appropriate level.
Teachers are saying that these changes are coming in far too quickly and that maybe they're coming in for electoral reasons. What do you say to that?
Well, speaking as a parent, I think, like the parents that you've been talking to, that changes can't come quickly enough. I want my children who are in primary school at the moment to have the sort of curriculum that children in other countries have, which are doing better than our own. Because, when my son and daughter graduate from school and then either go on to university or into the workplace, they'll be competing for college places and jobs with folk from across the globe. And I want my children to receive an education as rigorous as any country's.
With all due respect, though, you can have the greatest curriculum in the world, can't you? But unless you've got the trained teachers to actually teach it, it's worthless.
That's absolutely true. And one of the great things that we have at the moment is we've got the best generation of teachers ever in our schools. We're really lucky that there are more great young teachers coming on stream. And it's one of the joys of my job as Education Secretary, to spend time in classrooms with teachers who are being asked, yes, to do more than ever, but are rising to that challenge.
You're concentrating on English, maths and sciences, which is terrific, but what about children who excel in the arts and sport? I mean, look at sport, we're just celebrating Andy Murray's victory. Yeah. But if you don't start ploughing money into sport, it's going to be another 77 years before we have another champion. It seems that the arts and sport are always the ones that are cut, it's always the subjects that are left behind.
I completely agree with you that any sort of reform to our schools which doesn't take account of the need to encourage children who are creative and indeed to encourage all children to play more sport, that sort of reform would only be, it would go off at half-cock. And one of the things about sport is that we made a change just a couple of months ago to give more money, particularly to primary schools, to make sure that children get a sporting habit for life right at the very beginning, so that all primary schools have extra cash to buy in coaching advice and to get support from PE teachers. I don't think necessarily every school is going to be able to afford a Judy Murray, but every school will have the chance to invest in sporting excellence.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining
indeed.
us this morning.
Thank you.